to the Real Men of Real Estate, hosted by me, Thomas F. Chappelle Jr., with our very special guest, Mayor Todd Rigby of Eastvale, California. For those who don't know, he's a very interesting guy. You know, I mean, the one thing is he's very spiritual, and that's a good plus in that you can have in an individual. He's a family man. Number one, he believes in his family. And two, being into the real estate space, I mean, that's kind of a juggling act on its own. But it gives him the ability to be able to spend more time with his family. I coach just like you did. I also play sports, and being in the real estate space gave me the opportunity to be more involved in my son's academic life and things of that nature. But we're going to step into you becoming a mayor, and I know you kind of alluded to a lot of this earlier, but what was one of the things that stood out that said, I need to become a mayor? Or I'm just going to get into politics, period.
Yeah, so like I said at the beginning, you talked about politics around me early on, and I'd go watch a football game and I'd be like, you can finish your discussion. Come catch me on the TV later, after you're done with that discussion. I don't want to talk about politics. I mean, it was not an interest of me. So as I mentioned, I'm on the Real Estate Association board for Pacific West in Orange County. And one of the things that we do, I'm actually leaving on Tuesday to do it again, is we go up to Sacramento for what we call our Ledge Day. We go up and we talk with legislators about property rights for homeowners. And as I was up there the first time I did that, I think it was in 2015, there was a council member of, I believe she was in La Mirada, Sherry Kelly. And as we were up there and talking, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. This is kind of fun. You can talk to these assembly members, senators, and you can have an influence on good for the community, for homeowners, all that type of stuff. I thought that's kind of cool. And she said something that kind of tipped it off. She said, Todd, you should run for city council. And I said, no, Sherry, you're crazy. I said, there's no way I'd want to do that. And so then at this time, Eastvale was deciding whether or not to go to districts. And so that was back in 2015-ish, right around there. And they made the decision to go to districts. And when they went to districts, my district, there was no incumbent. And so as I started kind of contemplating, I was like, well, people have mentioned I should run for city council. And I was like, I've always heard that it's hard to run when you run against an incumbent. And I said, this may be my time, and this may be God telling me, Todd, there's no other incumbent, take advantage of the opportunity. So I did. I ran. At the time, my wife was 9 months pregnant with our third child, who's 6, almost 7 now. And she was pregnant. And when I told her about that, first she was shocked. She was like, who is this guy that's telling me he wants to run for city council that wanted nothing to do with politics throughout our entire marriage? And so she told me, she said, Todd, I support you, but I can't physically support you because I'm 9 months pregnant. There's not much I can do. So she was very supportive and did all that she could. I remember our first campaign we had. So my son was born in August, and that's about the time when campaign season starts. So here in Eastvale, we have an ordinance that you can't leave your political signs. You can't leave any signs up throughout the week. You have to put them up Friday night. You have to take them down Sunday night. And I remember during that time, there were times we would take a screaming child with us that was hungry and wanted to eat or sleep. And my wife would drive around and she would help me go set up or pick up my signs with all 3 of our kids in the back of the truck. And I got to clarify, because I mean in the back seat of the truck. Back in our day, Thomas, in the back of the truck, we used to have fun riding in the back of the truck.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And not the back of the truck. But yeah, so we had a screaming kid that as we would go pick up and set up these signs, that he was, literally weeks old, and my wife would help me through that. Ran a successful campaign, ended up becoming a council member in 2016, and then 2017 I was again within our council, we decide on the mayor and the mayor pro tem. So 2017, I was put in as the mayor pro tem. 2018, I believe it was, or 2019, I was put in as the mayor. Or I think it was 2018, the mayor pro tem, 2019, the mayor. And then this is my second term as being the mayor again. So I enjoy it. It's a great opportunity. Enjoy having a positive impact on our community.
So the question here, I know Eastvale is becoming an upcoming city. So what could people expect from the city of Eastvale? Why would they want to come there and live? What's okay, Eastvale, okay.
So, Thomas, you think I'm passionate about my family and God and all the things that I do? I am passionate about Eastvale. It is an amazing city. We have some great opportunities coming up. We've been incorporated since 2010, so we're still a newer city. And for those of you, one of the things that I've realized is not everyone knows where Eastvale is. I've traveled to different meetings for city, for real estate, and I tell people where I'm from, and I'll never forget I was up at one meeting and I said, I'm from Eastvale, and they said, oh, great, what part of Northern California is that? I'm like, no, it's not Northern California, it's Inland Empire, Southern California. Even people locally, they don't really know where Eastvale is because it's so new. But Eastvale is right in between Ontario and Norco, Chino. We're right off the 15 freeway. One of our developers said it best. He said, Eastvale is at Main and Main of Southern California. I mean, we're right at the 15, 60, 10 interchange where you have a lot of commerce coming and going. Basically comes from the port, goes through the local freeways and then goes throughout the country, the entire country from right around where we're at. So like you said, what does Eastvale have to offer? We have a ton to offer. We are so close to Orange County. We have a lot of our residents that work in Orange County, LA County, because we have reasonable price homes compared to Orange and LA County. So people can come here. They're on the verge of those counties. They can still get to work in a timely fashion. Timely fashion for Southern California traffic.
True.
But then they can get a decent sized home for a good price still. So we have great housing. We're part of the Corona Norco Unified School District, which is one of the top rated school districts in the Southern California area. Great schools here. We have our law enforcement is through the Riverside County Sheriff's Department. We've been rated in the top safest communities. We are right now rated as the #1 least financial city at risk. So meaning that we're in a great financial position, and that's for the entire state. So we are in a great financial position for our city. Our shopping centers, two of our largest shopping centers have been rated in the top 25 for the state, top 50 for the country. So, I mean, we have a lot of great shopping. And, that leads to another point, Thomas, shopping. So right now, our city hall is in a shopping center where you don't see many city halls.
And that's true because I visited. Go ahead.
And you understand what I'm talking about. So when Thomas and I were at our city hall, we met in our conference room, and Thomas, you can attest to this, but our conference room is, I'll just say, rather embarrassing, right? I mean, the size of our conference room
exactly.
It's small. So one of the things that we've been really trying to do is we've been really trying to look for the opportunity to do a real city hall, if you want to say. We're growing up, we're getting to be a teenager, I guess you would say, in our age of cityhood. And we have an opportunity to build a city hall. Not only build a city hall, but we're going to build a civic center. So a city hall, a police station, a library. We're going to build our 3rd fire station. But then we're also going to have about 500,000 square feet of commercial retail. And that just broke ground a couple of months ago. And that's going to be at Limonite and Hamner, which is right off the freeway, right next to one of our busy shopping centers already. So it's going to be an amazing opportunity to have a destination place. And that's what we really want it to be. We want it to be a destination where someone comes, late in the afternoon, parks their car, and they enjoy a late afternoon evening. They can go eat, they can go do some sort of entertainment, they can go shop, do all that just in one place. And we really want that to be something that attracts people. It's not only going to be Eastvale residents that it's going to service people throughout the region. And we're super excited for that. We're super excited for our civic center to be done or to be built, as well as this commercial area. One of the questions we get with this is kind of the time frame. How long is that going to take? So like I said, they just did the groundbreaking. And unfortunately, with this being an old dairy, there's a lot of, since we're on the radio, I'll just call it contaminated soil. I think what happens with dairies and what kind of soil that you can get, but it's contaminated soil, so they can't necessarily build on it as is. So they've got to excavate a lot of that soil, bring in clean soil so they can build. And then from there, then we can start to build our civic center and commercial space in this area. So time frame, we're probably looking still another 2 to 3 years before we have that city hall built. I keep on teasing our staff that, hey, we want it done in 2 years. And they're like, I don't know about that, Todd. That's pushing it. So I would probably say closer to 3 years, we'll see that built. The commercial will probably be a process, though. That's not something, 500,000 square feet, that's a big area.
Yes,
so that's not something that's going to be built overnight.
Well, see, that was one of the reasons why you and I ended up meeting, because I wanted to bring to the attention to the city of Eastvale, especially because the governor had put out the mandate for ADUs and affordable housing. And since I am an investor that's a part of a company that builds the prefab homes, that's how you and I end up getting to talking and whatnot, and come to understand that even though Eastvale is upcoming and growing, it's just that in the space is only allotted for a lot of different other things. And you guys have all these different other things and that's going on. So you and I are going to continue the relationship that we created to where we can get involved in not only stuff in your city, maybe in other cities, because you are in the real estate space and whatnot. So that's one of the things that attracted me to you, is that the opportunities that you and I can work on together and just build this country to a better place. Right now, with the things that are going on in the world, and understanding that it's never been government's position to create housing or create jobs, it's really up to us. And I want to be able to be that person to make a difference. You're another person that wants to make a difference and things like that. And I think with the relationship that you and I are starting to embark on, we'll be able to help achieve that goal. And I do appreciate us being able to come together and doing that. So what we're going to do is we're going to end up taking our final break, and we're going to come back and we're going to talk to the mayor about if he had an opportunity to talk to his younger self, what would he have told himself? Thank you for listening to The Real Men of Real Estate, hosted by me, Thomas F. Chappelle Jr. We'll be right back. Thank you.